are these people?
We're up to the fuck Israel portion. So we're going to start with exactly how bad it is, but we're going to actually bring it. This might even be a little bit uplifting. I'm going to try to make it uplifting because this is actually from a Gaza resident on coming home, but what he's experiencing. Rubble, sewage, desperation for clean water. This is Gaza after ceasefire. Shahad Ali for Truthout. The ceasefire allowed many of us to taste a vegetable for the first time in months, but our fight for survival is acute. And I will say that if you go to on Substack chat for Council Estate Media, there are a whole host of Palestinian residents posting GoFundMes and pleas to support them as they rebuild. But my God, look at that. Ugh. So that's a man walking his bike through a leveled neighborhood in Khan Yunis the other day. So this is part of the series, Struggle and Solidarity, Writing Toward Palestinian Liberation. As the ceasefire in Gaza marks its fourth week and evacuees return to the north, many believe Gazans' suffering has ended. This is far from reality. However, this author truly believes that the ceasefire is crucial. It's allowed families to reunite after lengthy separation. He had the chance to see his aunt and uncle who were forced to evacuate to the south in the early days of the war. Even now, it feels surreal to have them back with him. Additionally, the ceasefire has allowed humanitarian aid and goods to enter the Gaza Strip. Markets are now stocked with food, and we had been deprived of for so long. Chicken, fruits, vegetables, and even chips and candy. For nearly a year, these were just distant dreams as starvation spread and we lived on little more than bread and canned food offering minimal nutrition. Now, for the first time, we can gather around the table to eat for enjoyment and not just survive. Look at that market.
And this is one of the Israeli hostages that Israel let go of. Right?
No, I don't know if this is one of the prisoners. No, I think this is. I
saw a video about that one.
Okay, I don't think that's him.
It's like one of the prisoners actually got to eat a meal with actual nutrients in it for once.
Right, but what he says is, yet despite alleviating some suffering, the ceasefire alone cannot undo the immense devastation inflicted on Gaza. Naturally. Since the war began, the Israeli occupation has systematically worked to destroy the Strip, especially the north, by bombing entire neighborhoods, demolishing infrastructure, targeting water wells, dismantling roads, and cutting electricity and communication lines, literally destroying individual machines inside hospitals to make sure they did not work anymore. Gaza has been pushed back to the Stone Age, reduced to a landscape of rubble and ruin. Intentionally, let's just add. My neighborhood, Al Zaytun, one of the largest and most populated neighborhoods in the north, witnessed relentless bombardment and continuous military invasions. In November of 2024, when Israeli forces decided to expand to the Netzarim corridor, which my neighborhood surrounds, most residents were forced to evacuate. My neighborhood then became a staging ground for troops securing the corridor. The situation became extremely dangerous, and reaching the neighborhood was almost impossible. If anyone tried to go there, they would almost certainly be killed. And we saw that they had basically drawn a line in half, and that they were killing anything that moved was the description. During the ceasefire, people were finally able to reach it. My neighbors, eager to see their beloved neighborhood after months of displacement in the south, were devastated by the scale of destruction. The once vibrant area known for its olive trees and beautiful homes was unrecognizable. Houses were either completely destroyed, partially ruined, or burned beyond repair. None remained intact, and that was Israel's plan, to leave not a building standing. This devastation was not limited to my neighborhood. Most areas in the north, including Beit Hanun, Jabalia, and Beit Lahaya, suffered the same fate. For a moment, many in Gaza believed that returning to the north might end their suffering, but soon they discovered that it had been reduced to a wasteland. Instead of finding solace, they found themselves trapped in another war, a war of survival where any sense of life had ceased to exist. The struggle for water has become one of our greatest challenges. Thanks, Israel. Fucking assholes. With nowhere else to go, those who lost their homes pitched tents, previously used in the south, over the rubble of their homes. These flimsy shelters offered no relief from the scorching summer heat or bitter winter cold. Some started searching for available rooms in schools for shelter, but even that proved challenging as most schools in the north were overcrowded, with sometimes 3 or 4 families sharing one classroom under deteriorating conditions. This is what they are permitting and trying to act like is something benevolent that we're doing to help these people. My family and I are among those who lost their homes, but fortunately we secured a small apartment in another neighborhood called Al-Tufa. I assume that if we did not have this place, we would have been forced, with no alternative, to live either in a tent or in a classroom if we had managed to find one. Those whose homes were burned or partially destroyed wasted no time trying to make them livable again. For them, anything was better than life in a tent. My neighbor Abu Omar saw his house hit by 3 artillery shells, which demolished most of the exterior walls, leaving the interior exposed to the street. He tried to rebuild, but the cost of construction materials in Gaza is expensive. A single bag of cement costs $200. So he had to resort to makeshift repairs using plastic sheets and iron bars to close the gaps. Again, this is being done intentionally by Israel. I can't reiterate that enough. I might as well say it at the end of every sentence. Similarly, my neighbor Rasad's home was completely burned during the first Israeli invasion in the neighborhood. The fire left the walls weakened and on the verge of collapse. Still, she had no choice but to scrub away the blackened ash and continue living there. What else is she going to do? For her, even a damaged home was a blessing, a place that offers her and her children some shelter from the streets, though not much, and certainly no security. Beyond the destruction of homes, the lack of basic services has made daily life in the north even more unbearable. And again, thanks, Israel, for that. The struggle for water has become one of our greatest challenges. The Israeli occupation destroyed most of the water wells, leaving people desperate for any source of clean water. Some charity organizations began delivering water trucks to the devastated areas in the north, but they don't even arrive daily or on a predictable schedule, and the supply is often insufficient, because how the fuck can they possibly bring enough for everyone there? When Israel's rationing them to starvation plus levels intentionally. Still.
Sir, would you like a video to go with that?
No. I don't.
I have a video that goes with that.
Well, I'll put you on big screen.
About the water. Hold on. Let me find it. Keep going for a bit.
Okay.
And we'll circle back to it.
As a result,
it's here. I have it.
Many residents are unable to fill their water containers and are forced to walk long distances to secure water for drinking and daily use, which eats into their entire day of potentially rebuilding their house or finding food or whatever else they might need to be doing now that they have their lives back and the bombs aren't dropping every fucking 5 minutes, killing them wherever they are, making them run for their lives. And then they burn the tents after that. And then they drop another bomb where they go. I mean, we saw this for 16 months as they destroyed hospitals, and murdered aid workers and and captured doctors and tortured them. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Charging devices, of course, has also become incredibly difficult.
I sent it to you.
Thank you. Most solar panels, the only source of power at this point, all right, because there is no electricity. All right.
Yep.
Most solar panels
just walk down to Electric Avenue and pick them up.
Have been, and the panels were destroyed in the war, and the few that remain are damaged, significantly reducing their efficiency. Of course, the high cost of solar equipment further compounds the issue. A single 600-watt solar panel costs up to $1,000, making it nearly impossible for most families to access a reliable source of electricity. So they all have to kind of pool their resources.
And it's not like I've used a couple. They're not like
great,
convenient and like, you know what I mean? They're not super efficient. Like you have to put them in the exact right spot. You got to move it in relation to the sun, Like you can't have it in shade. You got to keep cleaning it because dust collects on it. Like
that's right, Mastermind. You have to rock down to Electric Avenue, but they can't here in Gaza, unfortunately. So here's the video that Reef pulled from Palestine Online. The Israeli government and private companies strictly control water sources in the West Bank, restricting water access for Palestinians on the account of Israeli settlements. And here's 55 seconds.
I can't wash my hair because of the Israeli occupation. All of our tanks are out of water. We only get water every 15 to 20 days. Hence the tanks. And if you're out of luck until the next refill. These water tanks are a staple on Palestinian houses in the West Bank to combat the chronic water shortage. But the problem isn't that there's not enough water. The problem is even our water sources are under occupation, and it's all controlled by the Israeli government and private Israeli corporations, who allot Palestinians less water than the World Health Organization recommends. But why? What are they doing with all our water? Funneling it into neighboring illegal settlements, where Israelis have a continuous supply of water and consume more than double their Palestinian neighbors. And to top it off, the Israeli company that supplies Palestinians in Bethlehem and Hebron with 70% of our water is reducing that amount even more. I can't wash my hair because of the Israeli occupation.
So, getting back to this. Mobile phone signals and internet services are weak and scarce in most areas. They need eSIMs for that. Transportation is nearly non-existent, and when it's available, it's prohibitively expensive. As a result, we're forced to walk a long distance to reach Al-Shahaba Street in the heart of Gaza City to access a reliable connection at all. Sanitation services are almost non-existent, leaving piles of garbage to accumulate in the streets. With no other way to dispose of waste, people are forced to burn it. Sewage flows through the damaged roads. Of course, they don't have plumbing or running water, as the infrastructure is completely destroyed. The air is filled with the foul smell of sewage and the harsh fumes of burning trash. This reminds me of when they talked about New Orleans in the 1800s, and they didn't have plumbing and the place smelled like shit all the time. All right. This poses serious, and they built canals to deal with that. But they at least had water nearby. Poses serious health risks, including respiratory problems and dysentery. I'm sure they can't even get fucking toilet paper. The challenges we face in Gaza are overwhelming. Our hopes for recovery are rooted in the urgency of rebuilding not just the physical structures, but the lives of the people who've endured so much. We need the international community to commit to rebuilding Gaza's infrastructure, supporting the people who've lost everything, and addressing the severe shortages of basic necessities. The problem is that the haves are not willing to do that. The road to recovery will not be long. Go ahead.
Well, it's just and that's if this holds. And it's on shaky ground. Like, you know what I mean?
No, Israel wants to break it big time.
Yeah.
They've
and
been fighting
done
to break
already.
it.
Let's not forget that.
Admittedly, at over 250 times.
Literally, they admitted it.
Yep.
Right.
The 76th rule of acquisition.
The 76th?
Every once in a while, declare peace. It confuses the hell out of your enemies.
Gaza's resilience is unwavering, but it needs help to rise again. And this week, Egypt actually pledged that they had a plan to rebuild Gaza for the Palestinians. I don't know if that's going to be allowed to push, but I certainly hope so. Another thing I didn't want to ignore and wanted to showcase here was Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya. We've talked about him before a couple times. He was taken prisoner in late December by the IDF. He bravely refused to leave his hospital and was last seen walking into a tent, walking into a tank, and he was taken to one of the worst prisons there were, tortured. We now know, we have an update about what's happened to him and where he is now and what's going on. So this is from the news roundup from the Electronic Intifada, Nora Barrows-Friedman. They are an Indie Media Award honoree, as is Truthout, who that last article came from. We only go to the best of the best for these stories because it's so important to get this stuff right. Since the January 19th ceasefire in Gaza, Israel has violated the ceasefire in a myriad of ways, including by withholding the amounts of aid, fuel, and medical deliveries agreed upon under the ceasefire terms, restricting people's freedom of movement, and by continuing to attack and kill Palestinians. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone here. Again, I want to blow this up a little bit more. Euromed Human Rights Monitor has reported, quote, despite the declaration of a ceasefire, Israel continues to commit genocide in the Gaza Strip by denying Palestinians the basic necessities for survival and imposing conditions of life calculated to bring about their physical destruction. And you just heard that described in extensive detail from the previous article. The rights group added that more than 100 Palestinians have been killed since the ceasefire came into effect, including some who died from previous injuries during Israel's genocidal attacks, and at least 900 have been injured. On the 10th of February, Abu Obaida, the spokesperson for the Al-Qassam brigades now that they murdered the last one, the military wing of Hamas, announced that the planned release of Israeli captives would be postponed indefinitely unless Israel fulfilled its obligations and stopped its ceasefire violations. Hamas officials then submitted a report to mediators on the 11th of February listing 269 field violations by the Israeli military since the ceasefire, as well as the ongoing denials of aid and fuel deliveries. By the way, that number is already over 300. Also included on the list were several political violations. They included statements by...
over 9,000!
Probably. They included statements by Israeli lawmakers urging the expulsion of Gaza's population and the ways Israeli prison authorities were subjecting Palestinian captives to assault and violence upon their release during the exchanges. Again, coming from the Israelis themselves. They're not denying it. They're happily admitting it. The only people denying it are Americans that are embarrassed by this. Israeli lawmakers then accused Hamas of violating the ceasefire themselves, the gaslighting motherfuckers, with U.S. President Donald Trump insinuating that Israel should cancel the ceasefire if the Israeli captives aren't released. But even the Israeli military admitted in Hebrew media that Hamas had not violated the terms. As Indie Media Award honoree Ali Abu Nima pointed out, read it in Israel's mass circulation newspaper Ma'ariv. The Israeli army and security establishment confirmed that so far Hamas has not violated the ceasefire deal.
We're just innocent men.
trucks filled with fuel, medical supplies, tents, caravans, heavy machinery and food have been set to enter the Gaza Strip, but it's unclear when these necessary supplies will arrive as agreed upon. Again, this was on the 11th. The article that we read before was from the 14th. So some of them started arriving. But Ali also said that this is exactly as I predicted the crisis would be resolved. Israel backs down from sabotaging the ceasefire and agrees to implement what it originally signed, but only after the resistance drew a clear line, hoping these genocidal wreckers don't come up with new nefarious schemes before Saturday, which of course they did. And then on Saturday, they then acted like their side was worse, and they put all the Palestinian hostages in these robes, this garb that had Israeli flags and Arabic writing that was derogatory toward the Palestinians.
Yes.
Gross.
Right. Like, it's like shit they would accuse Hamas of doing.
Yes.
Like, what?
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Right. IDF officially did withdraw from the Netzarim corridor, which bisected Gaza for more than a year. That's what we were talking about, cutting these Gaza in half.
A place where they barbecued and had lattes on the fucking bones of their victims.
Mm-hmm.
What? Like, they are finding bodies now, piles. It's like, anyway, Jesus Christ. Ugh.
Serenity now!
Right.
Ugh.
By the 9th of February, the French news agency AFP and the Times of Israel jointly reported that a Gaza government official said that, quote, Israeli forces have dismantled their positions in military posts and have completely withdrawn their tanks from the Netzarim corridor on Salah al-Din Road, allowing vehicles to pass freely in both directions. That's good. The joint report added that an AFP journalist on the scene said there were no Israeli troops present on the corridor. That also worries me that they're preparing to drop more bombs. A full evacuation means that they may be preparing to declare that the ceasefire is over and drop more bombs, and so they don't want to potentially hit their own people. The Al Jazeera Arabic channel filmed footage of the wreckage left behind from the Israeli military after it withdrew from the Netzarim corridor. I don't want to play this because if I do, I could get in trouble. Al Jazeera has copyright claimed us in the past. In a statement, Hamas...
You violated the law.
I'm not going to do that. Hamas political party said that the withdrawal of the Zionist occupation army from the Netzarim axis is a victory for the will of our people. So they're hopeful, and that is the political wing of Hamas, not the military wing of Hamas. They are separate things.
Yeah.
And here we go with the medical equipment deliberately destroyed. Turning to the healthcare situation in Gaza, Caroline Seguin, the emergency coordinator for Doctors Without Borders, stated from northern Gaza on the 11th of February that the level of destruction is total. It's a flat land. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Our Palestinian colleagues are no longer able to recognize their own neighborhoods. Some were in shock. Others literally collapsed. This I can play. But I have to take the music down.
But not the music.
Health centers in Jabalia in the north. Destroyed in this war. There are no medical services provided to people, and they come to us. She started Sheikh Radwan primary health care to cope with the massive medical needs in North Gaza. The number of cases has increased by around 70 to 80% since the movement of people from the south to the north, to the extent that in the dressing room, we have to perform burn dressings on the same bed for multiple patients. For example, we receive cases with bodily injuries, amputations, fractures in the legs. They need care, physiotherapy, health promotion, and physiological intervention for the patient. They don't even have anesthesia. Look at this. We receive many children who are barefoot with no shoes, and they have problems with their toes. They have infected wounds in the detention. When we ask the parents if they can get treatment, they tell us no, it's very difficult. Of course it is. The lack of medical supplies, shelter, and food and water is critical in the north. MSF calls on Israel to ensure unhindered access for vital human survival. That's Doctors Without Borders. Which has its own
children
problems.
With no shoes on the feet.
I had to add this because it's something that likely will be coming up in the next day or so. And you'll see this on a lot of the shows. I'm hoping they'll cover this. We have confirmed with multiple patient reports that in the last 1 to 2 weeks that the Israeli government has unilaterally and sneakily begun forcing patients who medically evacuate from Gaza to sign paperwork at the exiting checkpoints saying they will not and cannot return. None of the NGOs helping with the coordination of the medical evacs were informed by the entity or any governing body that this would happen. Ethnic cleansing aside, mothers are being forced to leave their children behind to travel with a sick child, and almost every family is being forced to leave family members behind. And now they're being told they'll never be able to see them again. Not that the Israeli government cares, but this again violates international law, and given the document was signed under duress, it is unenforceable, meaning it's not worth the paper it was signed on. But not again like Israel gives a fuck. Further, this jeopardizes the entire medical evacuation enterprise in multiple ways. 1, countries will be much more reticent to accept medical evacs from Gaza. 2, all aiding countries will now be accused of being guilty of collaborating with Israel's ethnic cleansing crimes. And 3, this will upend Jordan's commitment to accept 2,000 patients and be blowback against Trump. This can stop as quickly as it started. Israel thinks we aren't paying attention, but of course we are. Pressure is needed on Israel to stop this illegal and sneaky practice. Thanks to our friend Abu Bakr and the Samir Project for sounding the alarm. So what did Abu Bakr have to say about this? Again, it's my job to reveal the truth, no matter the cost. I know many people have attacked me for this, but as a journalist, I know what I say. I can't let this ethnic cleansing scheme go past my pen. I know I'm probably the only one from Gaza talking against these organizations, but to be a journalist is to be a truth teller. For everyone who attacked me, may you learn from the lesson. Those who trusted me, thank you. Finally, Abu Bakr wants to leave a nice mark and give it all for his homeland within his accidental war reporting, because he's going to be a football journalist very soon. He was asked what his favorite football team was on the Electronic Intifada stream on Thursday, and he would not answer. He acted, what? I can't hear. Huh? He's trying to stay neutral. He doesn't want to give an answer. It was kind of adorable. You got to see that on the EI live stream from the other day. But, you know, this young man, go follow his Twitter account. He has been doing some live video reporting. You can see George Galloway had him on because some of his videos have just been wow. He's reporting for Press TV. He's reporting for the Electronic Intifada. There's 2 aid workers who were confirmed to be killed, or police members that were trying to keep the area safe, killed. Here he is talking with Abby Martin. But I wanted to bring one, the prisoner that was released.
I'm scrolling Twitter.
No, it's just scrolling. I want to show one of his videos from where he is in one of the camps. Hold on, while he's walking. Here it is.
The 3 Israeli captives have been released. They are on the stage, delivering a message to the Palestinian people, talking about their experiences and the captivity of the resistance. So that's what we are witnessing at the moment. Just 1 minute or so, they will be handed over to RC vehicles, and then they will be taken to the occupied Palestinian territories and Apache helicopter.
This is not one that I wanted. Actually, I wanted one of him walking through one of the neighborhoods. Here's one.
Streets inside Gaza. Of course, the street has seen great damage, great destruction, and I'm just walking around.
Let's look behind him.
Like the carnage, which is, of course, unbelievable. And at the same time, it's not only this, but because when you walk on the side or in one of the streets here in Gaza, what you are going to see is 2 things. The first is rubble, and the second is garbage, because the infrastructure has been struck and destroyed, and even all the buildings and houses, almost all of them have been hit by the Israeli military, and many villas here have also been demolished. Look at the carnage. It's unfathomable. It's insurmountable. Here's one of the banners.
This is Gaza City,
Palestine.
I would love to see what this looked like before, but it's only heartbreaking, honestly. I just wanted to share some of this. Please follow him. He's been doing some incredible reporting from on the ground and talking to actual Palestinians on the ground. I'm not crazy about some of the places that he chooses to write for and align himself with. I'll say that right now. But this kid is doing the work, and he doesn't want to be doing this work.
Just remember what the Intercept does to whistleblowers. That's all you got to remember. You know? Yes. So, just follow those resumes.
Okay, so this concludes our Fuck Israel portion of the program, because I'm sick of talking about it now, but I wanted to give an update from the people who are there about what they're experiencing and what Israel did to them, because we can't forget, and we've got to hold them accountable. Israel must be held accountable for what they're doing here and what they've done, and how they're now trying to steal the land with Trump's help. YouTube does not like when we talk about this. So if you like seeing stories like this, please support the media you want to see. The ways to do that are Cash App, $Indie News Network, ko-fi.com/Indie News Network, paypal.me/Indie News Network, and at our newsletter, innewsletter.com, where you can support monthly or annually with a subscription. But you can also subscribe free, and please do. We put out a daily update.
Whatever.
These are the incredible people that are our Wall of Fame. This week we got a annual subscription from Jack Farrell over at Indie Media Today. Thank you so much for that. And our friend James Arkazewski re-upped his monthly subscription over at both of the newsletters for INN as well as Indie Media Today. And we always appreciate that support. We are heavily suppressed. We are demonetized on YouTube because somebody once said that they might not be completely condemning an organization that now has deemed to not be friendly. No, not that one. It's the other thing.
Super safe.
It's hummus.
The safest.
It's we love hummus. We love to eat hummus. It is delicious. Hummus is delicious.
Hummus, delicious tahini spread with the za'atar. It's nice.
A little bit of garlic in there. Yum. Right. But these people have supported our channel and our network.
Sabracel.
They fund the media they want to see, and they support the media they want to see. Best ways to do that: Cash App, ko-fi.com/Indie News Network, PayPal, and Substack. I see Oaktown Girl in the chat.
Money, please.
Oaktown Girl, we work on a value for value system here, and that means that we don't do any ad reads and we don't do any sponsorships. We don't read out promo codes. Charlie Mack Friday night. That's right. Charlie Mack Friday night hooked us up. Natalie hooked us up Friday night. Kameshwari Kate. So many people, really. We're so grateful, and we work hard to try to bring a high quality of show and high quality information that hopefully you're not hearing elsewhere, and perspective that you may not be getting elsewhere. And that's why we do what we do. These amazing people have not disrespected INN, but YouTube certainly has, because they've demonetized our channel. The best ways to do it are there on that board. Cash App, $, Indie News Network, kodashfee.com/Indie News Network, paypal.me/Indie News Network, and INNnewsletter.com, where you can subscribe for free, but also support with a monthly or annual subscription. Money, please, as he likes to say with his little sound bit.
Money, please.
Thank you. So it is.
You gotta watch Parks and Rec, first of all. But yes.
That's our wall
Cash
of fame.
App, Ko-fi,
PayPal, Substack. That's
all that
it.
stuff.
Yep. Hook us up if you can. If you're not, share the show. Share the damn
You know what?
show.
Don't.
So please, whatever.
Whatever. But here's the way to do that. Cash App, Ko-fi, PayPal, and Substack. Those are our links. Those are the people we love the most. A lot of them are hanging out right here. Support independent media, everyone. We just fucking lost the stream. No, you're too early on that. Support independent media, everyone.
Aww.
We're going to boats. I love you all. We'll see you soon. Now you can do it.
Yeah. Bye-bye, fam.
Bye, Felicia.
No! We just fucking lost the stream. Thank you.
Can keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen to 50,000 dead? And now we know our mission, we form a militia, make Congress a prison. No, why play civil when all these dead won't make you listen? What's more American than slaying your oppressors? What's more American than liberty or death first? God, I thought we were founded on abolishing the tyranny of those who would starve a village all to live empirically. And I regret that I have only one life to give for my cause now that I can see the cause so clearly. See, I want our leaders, regardless of party, to fear me.